Still cold, still wet. It's almost May. Let's have a look at what I've got going on. Not very much. All my lettuces and early plantings of celery and brassicas all got eaten. I've replanted, so I resowed and then replanted. Actually, these ones seems to have stayed in situ, but they're not really growing, which is hardly a surprise because it's so cold. Garlic, that's doing quite well. So stems pretty thick, which is great. I don't know what variety it is. The things that I've grown and that I've saved, so I lose track of the varieties now, but yeah, they're not looking too bad. And then yeah, this is all kind of waiting to be planted out. I've got some amazing self-sown oregano here. Now this is like a mecca for bees. It's obviously an amazing herb to use in the kitchen, but also it flowers and flowers, and you can chop it back and it reflowers all the way through the summer. So that's just left there. It kind of forms this lovely big mound as well, which is quite attractive. I've got some sweet peas that I need to plant out. They're fine outside. And then this is old chard from last year. You can see now it's going to seed. You've got that middle root, middle stem there, which is poking up, and that will eventually flower, and I'll probably just leave that. Insects and bees will love the flowers, and then hopefully I can harvest some seeds. I've got some really pitiful looking, these I think are beetroots. They were planted earlier and they've just not done anything, but you know, I'm not really worrying. It's going to get warm and it'll be fine. I've got some, if you can see here, there, that's some direct sown beetroot, so I thought I'd give that a go this year. Normally I do everything in plugs, but I just thought I'd bung it in and see what happened. It's all germinated, so I suspect it's just stalling. Some chicory, this is actually from last year. This lasted all the way through the winter. The leaves are really bitter but quite nice in a salad. At the back down there I've got some fennel, actually some fennel from last year, and then some new plugs that I grew from seed. And you can see that if I get a bit closer, actually, I think they're going to be bulbing up quite nicely. That's a teeny little bulb there, you can see. It's really cute. So it's all kind of just waiting. I suspect everyone's gardens are like that. No panic just yet, to be honest. So this is this drain pipe here, this bit of guttering. You would have seen probably on some earlier videos on Instagram that I sow my peas into plastic guttering like this. And the idea is that once they've germinated and they've grown, a bit like here, maybe I've got a bit more growing to do, but you can just literally lift this up like that and then just slide it off into a trench. You give it a good push at one end and it will slide off in one long line. It's just, obviously you can sow direct as well, you can sow into pots, so it's just a fun way to do it. I've got another piece over there. One of them's mange tout, one of them's shelling peas. I'm not sure which is which right now, but that one is one. Over here, step over, actually my slippers. Celery, so there's remnants of the hedge that's been cut, but there's some baby celery here. Doesn't really like the cold, so ha-ha. Not doing very well, surprise, surprise, but I'm hoping it's not been eaten. You can see there's some really good growth going, even though it's tiny, and these will romp away once the weather hits. Some more chard from last year, and there's some more chard here. This is this year's sowings, so hopefully that will, I'm actually caught up with something. That will get going. Oh Jesus. Right. Under here, this is going to be a revelation for both of us, is lettuce. Now I haven't looked at this. It looks pretty promising underneath. You can see the green poking through. I've covered it with fleece. So that there is chard, and then you can see some lettuce at the back. Some's been eaten. I can't lift it all off with one hand, but you know, it's still there, and yeah, not looking too bad actually, quite surprised. What else can I show you? Oh, I've got all my brassicas under this section here for the moment. I did have purple sprouting broccoli, but that's all been harvested. That kind of was an early spring on broad beans. there. Not very many broad beans. We don't eat very many. There's only myself and my husband here, so I don't grow a great deal of them. Let's have a look. So this is brassicas like kale, dwarf kale, some cabbages, cauliflowers. Hello. Yep, actually quite delighted with that. They're still in situ. Literally, that's amazing. First lot I planted disappeared in about a day. Maybe the slugs have decided to make their move. Right, we're just going to check out the greenhouse. I'm going to show you what's going on in the cold frame. Oh. Tip that back. So I've got some celeriac and some lettuces at the back. They're kind of plugs waiting to go out. I've kind of saved them for the time being, and they don't actually need any heat. They're quite happy to be in somewhere cool, so they're sitting in the cold frame very happily. Likewise, I've got here some marigolds. What else is there? Some rudbeckias and some nicotinias. They could probably be brought in actually. Might bring those in because they're looking a bit weedy. This is pak choi and some choy sum, and then all at the back there is one of my favourite flowers, echinacea, and it's hardy, lives outdoors anyway, you know, it's a perennial, but they're obviously just seedlings, so they're just sitting in the cold frame just for a bit of protection to get their roots down, ready for planting out. I find that they get eaten so quickly in my garden, but they really need to be a good 5 litre, well no, about a 2 litre size pot size before they go out. And then this is my carrot bed. I haven't had much germinate, surprisingly, but you can see there is some coming through. I suspect I'll either have to re-sow or they will just come up when the warmer weather hits, just depending on how the seeds are doing. So greenhouse, please ignore the mess. It's literally a state in here, but it will get tidied up at some point. Second round sowing of kale and some dwarf kale here. Then some nasturtiums. Look at them, they're so cute. Love the pattern on them. Such a pretty flower. Some cuttings of some pelargoniums. These are sprouts, one of my favourite veggies to grow, and I've started these really early because I struggle with them a little bit, so I like to get them nice and big before they go in the ground. So that's those. I've got a load of leeks. Now these need topping and tailing. Somebody asked me what that was the other day. So topping is where you basically chop, I would say a good, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches off the top of these, and then you do so with the roots, and then when you separate them out to plant them out to grow on, it just gives them a bit of gives them a bit of a boost. It kind of encourages them to grow a bit harder, so they, you know, thicken up better for you. So that's my leeks. They're all obviously multi-sown in one big pot. Looks like grass, doesn't it? I've got some rudbeckias, no, some echinaceas here, some pallidas, which are one of my favourites. Germination was a bit poor, but I've got some good specimens there. Little sunflowers, missing the sun at the minute. These are all squash. Not that happy because it's so cold in here, to be honest. Cornflowers, very happy. I think these are cornflowers. Oh God, no, they're not. They're night stalks. God, they've grown. They look like cornflowers. So I don't know whether you remember these from the last video. They were tiny. Literally shows how much I'm paying attention. Night stalks smell incredible at night, hence the name. They're like little white daisies. Lovely for a pot near the front door. Absolutely beautiful flower. Got some runner beans coming up. Various flowers. A few more marigolds here. A really scrappy, scrappy tray of brassicas. A bit embarrassing. And then this is some nigellas and what's that? Oh, some tree cabbage. Now that's interesting. I've not grown it before. Apparently grows to about 6 foot high. Very interesting. With a cabbagey thing on the top. Anybody got any experience? Write me a message. And I've got some, you'll have seen some on some of my previous videos. I multi-sow my beans like this in a pot. So I just chuck a load of beans in. These are Belotti. They've all germinated, and then I'll separate them out and grow them on in individual pots. It's just an easy way to germinate a hell of a lot of seed in one tiny space. More pelargonium cuttings. And then this I've been covering at night. It's the hotbed. I've had to put the heat back on these because these are aubergines and chilies, and down in Sussex where I am, it's like a broken record. I keep repeating, the weather has been awful. But you can see these aubergines are really coming on a tree. They are, let's pick one up. Nice and toasty under here. I take it off in the daytime, but yeah, they're looking really good. Chilies are looking a little bit weedy, to be honest, at the back, but I'm not too worried right now. Courgettes, some, what have I got there? Courgettes, cucumbers, some basil, little Thai basil and some normal Italian basil. Zinnias, struggling a little bit, to be honest, but they are on the heat, so hopefully they'll pick up. Yeah, and a few bits and pieces, some sort of tiny little tomatoes here that I've just sown. They'll be fine, they'll catch up. And then I've got some little, not grown these before, quite looking forward to them. These are kaleets. So I think they're a cross between like a sprout and a cabbage. But apparently they're supposed to be really nice, so I'm excited about those. And then this here are the tomatoes. These are looking really good as well. These aren't on any heat, but obviously they are hiding in under fleece at night time, as well as these squashes. You can see actually the difference between these squashes here that look super healthy and brilliant and are growing some lovely fresh leaf. They've been covered by fleece, compared to these ones, which to be fair are growing, but look a bit, but they haven't been covered by fleece. So it does show that they are actually responding to having a little bit more coziness at night time. And there we go, that's it. You can see the alyssum, which I mentioned last time, still flowering. That will continue. When it goes to seed, I'll chop it back and hopefully it'll flower again, which I think it will. And I bought myself some new dahlias. Very excited. They've got to be planted out today. So that's it. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you soon. Oh, just quickly, one last thing. Just wanted to show you these. That's the Cosmos. I'm going to be doing a video soon of how to pinch out the tops. Pinching out the top of those will encourage them to get really nice and bushy, so look out for that. And one final thing. I thought you got rid of me, but I want to show you these. These are all my dahlias. So for some reason, from last year, I became obsessed with them. Never liked them before, now I'm totally obsessed. And these all stayed in the pots over winter. Look at the growth on those. So these will be perfect for propagating to make some more plants for free. So I'll be doing a video on how I do that at some point, fit it all in. But yeah, I mean, I'm delighted with that. Considering the weather, they are doing really well.